Going on, guys? Making a real quick live stream for the YouTube content creators out there. Just recently, I'm close to 500 subscribers, which will be like the biggest milestone I've hit so far. Obviously, every milestone that you hit, the next one is the big one. So, um, but tonight's live stream is kind of just discussing what I've learned in this short period of time that I've been a content creator. Let's see, can I put stuff in the chat? How many subscribers do you have? Less than 500? More than 500? Less than 100? Hey, what's going on? I see I got my first person in the chat. Are you a small content creator? Let me know how many subscribers you have. Can you enter your answer in the poll? Nope. Um, Hey, welcome to the stream. Tonight's video, I'm just kind of starting my live stream about YouTube, just my small YouTube journey. I'm curious of what brought you here. I'm kind of curious of your journey. If you could pull out how many subscribers you have in your on your channel right now. I'm almost at the 500 stage. I kind of just want to discuss tonight, like kind of like what my journey has been from when I first started. I don't know if like you guys, but when I first started my YouTube journey, I thought that like I would start a channel, I would upload my first video, and then like it would immediately have like 1,000 views. Um, and I've used like a lot of different resources as I've started my journey. How are you? Add me to your channel. You can subscribe if you want. But basically, like I started, and I thought like the first video I was gonna have was gonna like break out, and I think I settled into the harsh realities of YouTube and like the fact that like most people give up. Like the first time I tried was 2 years ago, and I gave up almost immediately. I uploaded like 3 videos, and the only views on them were my own. And then I took about a year off. I started filming content again. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put together a script. I'm gonna have good camera angles, less than 100. Well, welcome. So I guess this is a good part for you to jump in. This is where I started. So um, again, my original journey, I had no viewers on my first videos, and it was really disheartening because honestly, like you think like you film stuff, you're honestly getting in front of the camera the first time is like the hardest thing I could ever even imagine. It's like you don't really get to show your true personality in front of the camera because like you're not used to this. So the biggest problem is that you come off the first time, you come off super dry and super bland, and like people see you, if they do even see you at all, they usually click away because your message isn't really getting through to them. So then I took about a year off. I did my next video, and that one bombed too. And I was like, well, I really want to do this YouTube journey, but I kind of want some gratification. So like I think the first YouTube video I did was like, or YouTube short I did was like, I'm gonna review these Reese's Oreos, and I basically said how to super chat. I have no idea. If you know how, if anybody knows how to do a super chat, let us know. But basically, like I started my first my short was reviewing Oreo cookies, and I was like, well, I got like 30 views, and like that's better than the zero I had before. So I was like less than 500. I'm at 487 right now, so I'm right in that boat. Um, so I did my first. I was like, let me tap into something I like. So I started doing dad jokes, and I started doing dad jokes daily, and that was kind of my way to like break into it and kind of doing it. But like what I learned is like when you first start, you have no idea how to use any of the this stuff within YouTube. Um, I thought I didn't realize that there was an actual like caption button. So here's how dumb I am. So when I first created my channel, it says once you get over 4,000 watch hours, you can become monetized. And I thought that meant I had to watch for 4,000 hours. I'm like, how the hell am I going to watch 4,000 hours of YouTube? So I started putting like YouTube on the background, and then like I realized that I'm an idiot, and uh, I was like, oh, people have to watch my stuff for 4,000 hours. I'm like, there's no way it's possible. And like I look at the monetization stuff, and it's like if you have 4,000 hours of watch time, or if you have like 3 million, and I'm like, well, eventually I'm gonna go viral on my shorts. And honestly, you don't really ever go like it's hard to go viral. Like I had the biggest problem I had was like my fourth dad joke I did ended up getting like 35,000 views, and I was like, well, this is how it's always gonna be. And now I'm like, and now I've done like 250 dad jokes, and like I think the one I've gotten the most after that's like 7,000. So like the biggest problem when you come into this is like you have these preconceived notions of like how things are gonna go, and like when you don't reach them, it is severely it pushes you down. But I started to like, and one of the issues I have too is that like I have so many different niches on my channel. Like my main driver right now is probably my dad jokes because those are my daily things. And like but like my brand is like, thank you, I appreciate the compliment, guys. So my brand is, so my main focus is my parenting, my single dad stuff. I have military videos, I have grief and loss, and um I have some faith-based stuff, some dog stuff with my dog Rocky. But the hardest part is like, I think, stay true to yourselves. Like I'm a true believer that like the quality of what you put out is better than the quantity, because like you chase those the quantity, and you start to sell yourself out to something you really aren't. And um like especially for the type of content I'm creating is like, I want, if somebody's watching my video, I want them to be able to have like a growth experience from it. Like, yes, going viral would be awesome. Getting monetized right away would be awesome. But if you're doing this, hopefully there's other reasons that you're doing it other than just notoriety and fame. Because I think everybody wants to be Mr. Beast, and uh, honestly, it's weird to me how many like channels there are out there that are like, use this advice to make your channel blow up, and like that's their only content. I'm like, well, how did you make your content work other than you telling me how to make my content work? Um, so, but I think one of the beautiful thing about being a small YouTube channel is that like, unlike like the bigger channels that have like this set niche of what they have to be, like when you're a small content creator, you can do trial and error with things. Like you can try different things, you can try different videos, you can try different thumbnails, you can try different subjects, and there's no set expectation of what people are expecting from you. So like I see a majority of you are less than 100 or less than 500. So I appreciate you guys watching. What Let me know if you're watching right now, what's your subscriber count, if there's anybody still watching. Yeah, honestly, I wanted to be like, on this, I want to be able honest with you guys because I know you're probably in the same boat as I am, and I feel like at this point, like if you're less than 100 or you're less than 500, like there's probably so many times that you thought about quitting. Like there's I feel like every day I'm like, I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna do anymore. And then like I said, I've done my YouTube shorts every single day. Like I do my dad jokes, and like I'm not gonna do it. And then I'm like, well, if I'd be mad at myself if I quit again. Um, so if you guys are watching, let me know what your current subscriber count is, and let me know what your kind of what your go-to videos are that you're filming right now. Like for me, I have my dad jokes for my shorts. I was doing some fun facts of the day on my channel. Um, I also do parenting videos, military videos. I think one of the hard parts too is that like because I have different niches and within my niche, like my brand. I think the one thing that was frustrating was like the videos that were a passion of mine were getting more views, but the ones I really wanted to take off and I really wanted to make connection just weren't taking off. That's honestly why I'm on live stream right now. Is that I started live streaming this past week, and I found it as a better way to kind of connect with the people that might be watching my content and kind of steer them in. Because if you look at your analytics, like my impressions for certain videos, like there's videos that I've had out for 4 or 5 months, and the impressions are still only at like 2 or 300. And I'm like, how's anybody ever gonna watch my videos if you're not pushing my impressions? Uh, but I think consistency and filming too. I think the one good thing about shorts is that like it gives you a constant ability to be in front of the camera and to get comfortable. Because like right now, like I'm talking like there's a person in the room, and I the only reason why I feel that way is because like I have like almost 550 videos and shorts combined on my channel, and every video I film, I get a little more comfortable, I get a little more conversational. At first I try to do things perfectly, and I would use a teleprompter on my phone, and I would start reading the teleprompter, but like my delivery was so dry that like I'm like nobody's gonna want to sit in here and listen to Ben Stein talk about if you know who Ben Stein is. Listen to Ben Stein talk about being a single parent. Like they want to see your personality. So I stopped doing the scripted videos, and I kind of just started doing the unscripted stuff. You know, and then like I would spend so much time on editing, and like I spent hours and hours and hours editing, and I would get so frustrated because there would be no jump in subscribers, there would be no jump in viewership, and it's incredibly frustrating because like you you put this time and effort in, and you don't see the fruits of your labor. And then like other videos, like you don't put any effort into them, and they kind of go off a little bit. So if you're watching right now, put something in the chat. I have ADHD brain, so I can kind of go on and off on many tangents. I'd love to hear from you guys. What's your subscriber count? Did you just start? Are you thinking of starting? Are you starting this week? What kind of success have you had? Um, just kind of let me know in the chat. It's kind of like to steer the conversation. So I guess I'll just keep talking until somebody else jumps in. So again, I started my YouTube journey 2 years ago. And, I made my first couple videos. I thought they were going to go off as soon as I pressed upload. I uploaded them. I kept watching them. I was the only viewers on there. I got tired of checking and seeing that nobody's watching. It was completely deflating to my ego. I stopped watching, or I stopped uploading, and I used it mainly as a watch. And it got to be about almost a year, and I was like, I really want to make content creation because I feel like I have a lot to say, and I feel like what I have to say could help some people. And I made the first video. I made a script, put the script down, got in front of the camera, did step by step, try to do like the animations, try to do the editing, and all right, so now I have nobody in here. Hey guys, thanks for joining. I'm glad somebody else popped in. I had zero here for it made me kind of feel like my YouTube journey as it is. When I first joined, I had zero views on my first videos for like 3 months, and then I gave up. I didn't film too many videos after that. I took about a year off. I started filming content again. My first video, I scripted, I edited, I put back on, and then I failed again. So then I started getting into the YouTube Shorts channel or YouTube Shorts. I started filming daily dad jokes to kind of build my get my comfortability up, and I kind of want to be a presence on YouTube. And I found that by filming shorts and filming stuff that was relevant to my personality, that I could kind of start making connections out there and kind of build my brand that way. And I've One of the hardest things that was difficult for me when I first started was I felt like so many different channels tell you need to be certain different things. Like they tell you like you need to be in this one niche, you need to focus on one thing and one thing only. And if you don't focus on that, then the YouTube algorithm isn't gonna be able to push your content. And but then like I found out like all the different things I talk about on my channel, they might not all exactly relate, but everything I post about is what makes me who I am. And my goal on this my channel is to kind of set a brand for who I am as a person. I tell my dad jokes, but I also have my parenting stuff, and that kind of ties into who I am as a parent. I have my military videos, and that kind of ties into who I am as a parent. So like all the different videos I film kind of wrap up into myself. But I think the main thing I want to focus on is this live stream is that the way I'm looking at the poll up right now is that everybody's less than 500, and half the people that are watching have been less than 100. So if you're like me and you're still pretty early on in your YouTube journey, um, I've just started getting into this live streaming, and I feel like it's a good stepping stone because honestly, like the videos that I was passionate about, the algorithm doesn't really push them, and there isn't really impressions. So if I can get on here and I can have a conversation with you guys, but the thing I want to say is, if you're watching, you're a small content creator, and I want you guys to know that the best thing about being a small content creator is that you have the ability to try different things, try new things. Because like the bigger channels, the ones that have millions of subscribers, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, even tens of thousands of subscribers, those people subscribe to those channels and they have a certain expectation of what they're going to be viewing. But when you're a small content creator, you can try different things. You can film different scenarios. You can try different like the different things that I've done in my almost year that I've been filming content is like taking into consideration my shorts. When I first started, I didn't. Well, back it up. I'll tell a joke or tell the true story. So when I signed up, it says you need 4,000 watch hours, and nobody explained to me. It didn't make it clear on the YouTube like description that like you need to watch. People need to watch your stuff for 4,000 hours. I thought I had to watch 4,000 hours. I'm like, well, how am I gonna sit down and watch 4,000 hours of YouTube? I'm like, that's insane. Uh, so I realized after a couple videos that I watched that it wasn't me watching 4,000 hours because I was about to put YouTube on in the background for a long period of time. So right now I'm at 490 subscribers, and I have about 1,500 public watch hours. And those vary because like I think the frustrating part too is that like a lot of my content comes from my shorts. So I'm building my subscribers and I'm at 490, but the hours that are coming from my shorts aren't registering towards my monetization. And honestly, like I think we all have that goal to be monetized. Um, I mean, for me, I don't hope to ever be like a millionaire from it or like make hundreds of thousands of dollars. But if I could take the little bit of money that I make on here and put it towards my student loans or put it towards a house, like that'd be great. Like, but I think my goal on here is like I just want to be genuine. Like that's my goal is to be as genuine as possible. And like the reason why I make this stream is like I want you guys to know like you don't have to conform to what everybody else on YouTube is doing. Like do what you're passionate about. Like again, when you kind of change your perception of what you find to be success on YouTube, I think your mindset changes and you can be happy with the results you're getting. So like you can have small growth and like if the thing you're talking about is something you're truly passionate about and if you think that what you're saying can help one person, like I change my perception of like if I get 10 people to watch my video and I look at my retention rate and it's up to over like 50 or 60%, then I know that what I'm saying to that person is resonating and it's helping them become a better person. All right, so I see the polls. I got some people over 500. I got some people under 100. I got people that are less than 500. I'm just curious if you're watching right now, what's your current subscriber count? If you're okay sharing that. I'm just curious of like where you guys are in your journey because I started to notice that I felt like the first actually I felt like the first subscriber was the hardest because like I feel like people watch your content and they see zero subscribers and they're like I'm not watching this video, and then like you get that first subscriber and you get that high from that, and then like you're chasing like well let me get two subscribers, uh, and then I felt like 100 was like the hardest to get to. And then when I finally crossed 100, I'm like, well, now I want to get to 200. And then like, uh, so I mean, it's slow growing. I'm just interested how long for the one that has over more than 500. If you're still in the chat right now, how long did it take you to get to 500? Because this journey is definitely a slow grind. Um, I tell people all the time, I'm like, it's like a second job, honestly. Like I work my full time job. I'm a dad full time, and then like doing this content creation is like it takes up a significant amount of my time to come up with content, to come up with scripts, all that. So so if you're watching, I see there's one person watching. Are you a content creator? Are you thinking about becoming a content creator? Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for jumping in. If you're jumping in, I'm trying to find out. I'm pitching my story, kind of like where my journey has come from. If you can put how many subscribers you have right now, to be honest, I don't even know. I've heard that pulling your content subscribing channel is slow. Yeah, I mean, I filmed over 550, almost 550 videos and shorts, and yeah, I always ask AI. I'm like, do I suck at this? Because like, I'm like, if I don't even have like a 1-to-1 ratio right now. Like right now, my content is less than one person for every video and short that I've done. So, but then like again, like you start building that consistency and you start seeing the return subscribers go up, and then like you see like consistently people watching, and it goes with ebbs and flows. Like uh honestly, just my best advice is just film your stuff like you're not really curtailing to any certain group. Um, like I said, like I started doing my original long form videos and I thought they would pop off and they didn't. And then I started doing YouTube shorts and like I was excited just to get 10 or 15 people to watch. And then when I hit 100, I'm like, this is awesome. And then I got to my fourth dad joke video and they got up to like 37,000 views. And I don't know what that means. What is super chat? Can you like tell me what it is? Is that like the first level of monetization when you super chat? You want to pay me? Well, you can pay me by subscribing that or watching my videos. That's honestly more valuable to me. If you guys like dad jokes, I have a dad joke compilation on my page right now. If you want to watch that, if you want to like that, if you want to share it. Honestly, like right now, the monetizations, like as much as I would love to reach that part of it, my goal is honestly just sharing my story. Well, thank you. I appreciate you subscribing. My goal is just to share my story. Like I have a bunch of videos. So basically, I think my first week on YouTube, I put a video up, and then subsequently every 150, I put up a new video, kind of just going through what I learned. Thank you, I appreciate that. Um, yeah, like I said, like when you realize that what the quality is, um, when you think about the quantity of subscribers you get, I think especially if your goal is to genuinely help other people and you feel like the content you're creating is to help others, I feel like you can kind of you can be okay with the slow build up and like you can see the momentary jumps. And I think the weirdest part about YouTube is like sometimes like I'll have a short or a video and like I'll have a short and I'll have like 200 views. It'll have like 70 likes and I'll get like 5 subscribers. But then I'll get a short that has like 20,000 or like 10 to 15, 20,000 views with no likes and no subscribers. And I'm like, I just don't understand it. So um, when you stop making videos to like chase after those things, I feel like you can kind of change your perception of how you do it. You're like, I'm just gonna make the content regardless if people watch it or not, because I feel what I'm putting out is of value. And honestly, like some of my videos, like I had my one video I joined the military in my 30s, and like I literally had no views on it for like a week, and then I had like 15 views on it, and then like a month later it uh hit like 200, 300, and then it took like another month and a half for it to hit 1,000. And that was weird because like then once it hit 1,000, then like it started to blow up. And I wouldn't say it blew up, but like it's my most consistent video right now. Like I think I have like 13,600 views on that video. And like that's the one that slowly builds every single day. But then like the next closest video, I'm at like 975. And I'm like, please just let me have a second video that has 1,000. Like, and that's long form content. Like, because that's where you build your channel is through your long form content. So, um, my goal is to eventually have those be things that people want to watch. And then again, like I really don't understand the analytics because like I have one video that was like popping off and it was getting tons of impressions. And it's getting tons of clicks, but then the retention was like 12%. And then like I have videos that have like 60% retention with a high CTR, but then the impressions aren't there. So I'm like, what does YouTube want? Like, do they want to they don't want to push my videos that are actually getting retention? So again, if you're a small creator, just keep filming, keep getting comfortable. Like I said, when I first started, I was like a robot talking, and like obviously you see how I'm talking now. I'm talking like there's another person in the room, other than my dog. Um, but just getting comfortable in front of it, like I said, when I first started, I would have scripts, I would do tons of editing, I would try to put as many visuals in my videos as possible, and like I didn't really see the benefit of that. Like specifically, like the kind of content I put out there is more conversational, anyways. Um, and even like when I started editing, I'm like, even the editing doesn't seem genuine. So like I wanted to be genuine, and like when it comes to like real conversations like this right now, like there's natural pauses in your delivery. So like when you're actually talking, like there's natural pauses in your delivery. Sometimes there's delays, there's you take time to think about what you're saying. And honestly, like the last couple of months, my last videos have all just been kind of me sitting in the car, having a topic, and then just kind of expanding on that topic. Especially for my type of videos, like mine are based on like my own personal experiences and wisdom that I want to share with people. So like those are the type of conversations you has have of a conversation. So I mean, I guess if you're the type of creator where you're presenting a specific like detail oriented thing, like you probably don't want to have those natural pauses. But because like some of the stuff I talk about is kind of deep, like I want people to know that like I am genuinely thinking about what I'm saying. I am genuinely trying to convey that. Um, but again, like again, as people jump on, as being like being a small creator, you have the ability to test new things. Whereas like a bigger creator, they're kind of set into where they sell. Like that's like the one thing I see from especially like being in the military, like a lot of the military creators that I see out there, like they've built these giant cult followings off their videos, and they get to a point where they're burned out from doing that specific thing, and they can't really go away from that stuff because people know exactly who they are. And like they don't want it, like they're talking about military, but now they have a passion for making food, and people don't want to see that person talk about making food. So I think like the one thing I learned is like if you could do multiple different things that have to do with who you are as a person, like you can build multiple groups of people that subscribe to your stuff and will watch other stuff that make you who you are. Um, like my main thing is I'm a dad and I make a lot of dad content, and that's how I started doing my shorts, was making dad related comedy and stuff like that. When I first started, I didn't even know how to do the captionings on there, and I would sit there and type them and put them in a timeline, and then realize that like you could just press a button on the side and it automatically captions your stuff for you. Um, and then like playing around with like different audio, like different sounds. But then like I found like one of the annoying things about like being on YouTube is like I feel like you constantly compare yourselves to other creators. Like there's so many times I'll look at what other people are creating, and I will see like stuff and I'm like, that's so stupid. Like how did they get a million views? How did they get hundreds of thousands of likes? And I'm like, I feel like what I'm putting out there is better and more creative, but uh, whatever they're doing to get the algorithm to push their content is working for them. So I think there's little things I try to take away from other creators. Um, but then like I see the people that are out there telling people how to be content creators, and they have less than like a certain amount, but their only niche is telling other people how to be YouTubers. And I'm like, now I get that, like, but like, don't you have to be a subject matter expert to be able to tell people how to how to grow their channels? So I mean, I do have many videos about this journey, and I mean, it's not my goal to have it be like one of my main drivers is like the type of videos I have, but if my journey can and I can, like I said, every 100 videos I do or every 100 subscribers I have, I will usually put out a kind of like a, what I learned in the last so many videos. Um, and honestly, if that reaches just a couple of people, I'm happy. Like I said, it's not meant to be a driver of my channel. It's not meant to be my main focus, but if I can reach a couple different people that are starting their channels, I mean, looking at the poll right now, looks like the main ones less than 500, and it's a tie between more than 500 and less than 500. So it's good to see that there's people that are at the point where they're over 500 subscribers and they're still looking for advice too. So um, I think being at the smaller end of the spectrum, like I think there's like so much you have to be able to uh, kind of learn as you go and learn through trials and errors. And sometimes you'll do something and it'll work, and then you'll try it again and it doesn't work. So you need to be able to kind of shift and move after you make that shift, because um, people will forget about you soon. So, um, but I think the hardest part is one of the more difficult parts too is like when you film your shorts. The goal with the shorts is to have that medium pop, and for YouTube to pick it up. Whereas like your long form content, you can kind of wait for it to bloom a little bit, because like I said, like my main driver, my longest form content has like 13, a little less than 14,000 views, and like it took like 3 months before it even hit the thousand views. But then once it hit the thousand, then it went off. And I've had a lot of trouble replicating that first video, that one video that went off. It's like I'll see videos that I made a long time ago, and I feel like they had really good messaging, and they were really strong and good videos. But the impressions just never went up. And uh, but again, like I learned certain stuff from those videos I made. Um, but then recently I started working with more, trying to have better thumbnails, try to have better titles. I started doing the A/B stuff, but then like some of the ones I do the A/B on, when it's done doing the like testing them, it says we don't have enough data because there's not enough people clicking on them. So that's the hard part, is like you just want your stuff to be able to get out there. And like you look at some of your videos and your impressions just don't go up. And you search the content that you put out there and the same topic, and you don't even see your impressions anywhere. So um, that's kind of where I stand with this video. I just kind of want to get on here and describe my journey to this point. Um, I just started doing the live streams this week. I've had a different live stream for each one of my niches this week. I had my parenting Mondays, then I did a grief and loss on Tuesdays. Then I had a military one on Wednesday, and I kind of like this variety. The advice guy or Matt Noah. I don't know who those are. Let me look them up real quick, because I'm guessing I've probably seen their faces or something. If I've Because I look up. I try not to watch a lot of the YouTube description stuff, because like I feel like sometimes they they push me away from where like my kind of content goes. Let's see. Oh, I see he's live right now too. Let me jump on his live stream. I'm telling him I came to your live stream because a one of my subscribers. Thank you. I appreciate you coming back. We had a good conversation on Friday. I'm glad you came back into my page. All right, so now he's talking about dogs, which is interesting because I have a Australian Shepherd. So the one thing I haven't talked about yet on my channel is when it comes down to like equipment that you have. So I've only had an iPhone for my filming stuff. When I first started, I had an iPhone 14 Pro, and um, now I have an iPhone 17 Pro, which I like because I can have the the forward facing. I think one of the hard parts was having the camera where you're just looking into it at the back of the camera and you can't really see yourself. And if you accidentally screw up the angle, they can't see you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm always willing to listen and to look into other people's stuff because honestly, like I think what honestly the truly the hardest part about starting my channel is that like sometimes if you have certain content that you film, like you can kind of fall in line with other people that do similar content. Uh, but I think my channel is kind of like a rare breed because it's kind of a little bit of everything, and there isn't really a channel like mine out there to see. Yeah, so I think that's an interesting thing you say. So when it comes to like it's like there's the wisdom versus knowledge thing. So I think that's like one of the things that I try to push on my channel is that like I try to lead through wisdom because I think wisdom is kind of you you do it by living through it and you do it by overcoming and going through. Um, and I think I had this the first channel I did was Call with Dads, which I'll put them in the chat. Um, so uh, so I did. It's not working. So the first thing I did a collaboration with the Call with Dads, and honestly, it was pretty cool being able to have people see your content and then being like, "Hey, I want to collaborate with you based on the stuff that you see." And the goal is as kind of as you grow is to be able to hopefully eventually meet with like-minded people. MAGA, what about MAGA? So I don't talk about politics on my site, on my channel. I'm an active military, and it's not my job to discuss politics or anything about it. My topics are about real life issues, real things that people can connect with. So I apologize if that's what you want to talk about, but I don't talk about politics on my stuff. So, but I appreciate you watching. What days do I get my kid? So I have my son every day. I have him on Monday through Thursday. I get him after school. I have him till 6 o'clock. On Fridays, I get him from school and I have him till Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. So I am my last topic I actually did was consistency with your kids. Like with my single parenting is just kind of pushing dads to be the best versions of themselves and doing that through consistency. Uh, you know, as single dads, we only have limited opportunities to see our kids. So when we do see them, we have to be like 100% in the moment with them. And a lot of dads just have that inability to do that. Like, I can't tell you how many parks I go to or how many, like, even the museum, and I'll go and like the dads will be sitting there texting on their phones, checking their phones, and um, they're not paying attention to their kids. And that's why I made my channel, is to help other dads become better versions of themselves. Because honestly, like when you think about the grand scope of things, especially if you're a parent, like the time that you actually have to build with your child is so small. Like, you really only have 18 years with your kids. And if you're a father, like really you only have like 10 years where like, and this is where I get like other stuff from other people when I watch their content. Like I was watching the Will Compton's I think it's the Dad Pod or Pod, something along those lines. But basically, it was like saying like he read a book where they said like you have 10 years of where you're your kid's favorite person, and that's what I want to emphasize to hopefully the dads that do watch my videos. And the funny thing is about my channel is like, yeah, it's mainly focused towards dads and it's mainly focused towards military and stuff like that. But like a lot of people that actually watch my dad related content are mothers, and it's the mothers that share my content, because they want dads that aren't doing what they're supposed to do. They want dads to see that like there is another dad that like can do this even through hard times. Um, so yeah, so again, like when it came to like my journey and like my videos, like I kind of push out there that like if you don't want to be a dad, like if you're a father, like I think there's a difference between being a father and a dad. Like a father is somebody that like made a child. Your name's on a birth certificate, that's a father. A dad is like a title that you earn. And that's what I try to emphasize to these men out there. Whether they're in the father stage or they're in their father or they're a dad now, and they're trying to be the best version of themselves. But honestly, like the mother sharing my stuff to like hopefully spark these dads to do the right things is hopefully my goal. Like the way I look at it is, and the reason why I'm so passionate about my channel and the reason why I'm passionate about my content is I think that the kids that we make, if we do it right and we truly put an effort into making them better, and we're consistent and we teach them right and we teach them wrong and we go from there, I think that we can truly make the world a better place by how we create a generation. And the reason why I say that is I'm a big pop culture guy, so like when I watch like movies and stuff like that resonates with me. Um, and I think there's lessons that you can learn from that. So I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago there was the movie Resistance with Daniel Craig and what's his name? Let me look it up real quick just so I don't get it wrong. And I got the name wrong. So it's called Defiance. So it's Defiance. It has Liev Schreiber, Daniel Craig. So it's basically a movie about the Holocaust and basically these Jews that went into the forest and they escaped from what was going on. And they basically they fought back, and At the end of the movie, they show a um, basically a giant family photo of all the people that exist now because of those people that survived. So there was like, I think maybe like 50 or 100 people, but then like in the family photo from like modern times, there was like hundreds of people. So like the way I look at it with parenting and why it's important for me to make videos and kind of like hopefully push men into becoming better fathers is that like you providing the example for what your kids should be is something that they can carry with them and carry with them and bring into the future and hopefully change other people and be an example of what other kids should be. So why do you think the US birth rate is tanking? Do people just don't want kids anymore or can they just not afford it? I think it's a little bit of both. I think kids they can't afford it, and I think that divorce rates are higher, and um, family court stuff sucks. And uh, back in the day where I'm from, there was the big blue collar. There was Kodak in the area, and like back in the day, a single or a dad could support his whole entire family with one income. Now, even if you make a really good income, you live in paycheck to paycheck. So like having tons of kids isn't possible. I mean, plus, I mean, my mom had was Italian and Catholic, and I have seven siblings. So like they didn't believe in birth control. I mean, even like my local high school, like I graduated with 400 kids, and now there's barely 400 kids and 9 through 12. So I think people are less kids. Yeah, people do become obsessed with possessions and accumulation of stuff. But that's one of the things I preach on my through my wisdom and stuff like that is I grew up poor. I didn't have a dad around, and I teach through my experiences. So like my son is well off because I worked hard, but he doesn't know what he doesn't know, and that's the hardest part. Is that like when you're poor, that's all you know. When you have a little bit of privilege in your life and you don't have to experience the hardships, you don't know the other side of the coin. So like it's almost like ignorance is bliss. So like I feel like in my circumstance, like I make sure that like my son, he understands that he's blessed for everything he has, but I always make sure that he knows that there is another side of the spectrum where like when I was a kid, I didn't have that many toys. And I was like, I would steal toys from school because I didn't have them at home. So I make sure that he knows that. Did my wife design the room? No. So I've been a single dad for 4 years now, and the reason why I have stuff all around the house was when we split up. I wanted a place where my son felt comfortable. So I originally I went to like the Salvation Army, and I'd buy like pictures on the wall, and then I would start putting up stuff like on a like I have pictures that he's drawn, um, and like I have his photos and stuff over there. I basically just try to create a place where my son would want to come. So that's one of the things I share in my videos about it. I'm a single father. I miss her every day. Is she alive or did she pass away or she just leave you? Been single for 4 years too, and I hope you're doing well. Please teach your kid personal finance. Oh, I'm definitely teaching my son personal finance. I mean, I have student loans that I'm out of control, like all that. I can't buy a house right now because of all of it. Um, so those of you that commented that you're single, are you single by choice or are you single? Okay, um, so those are two topics I talk about on my channel: is grief and loss and parenting. So I think first and foremost, grief and loss is a different animal, and it's only something you can go through by going through the process. Like you never truly get over it, but you learn how to get through it, and each day becomes a little easier. When you're in a relationship and it ends, I think this is what I want to pitch to a lot of the single parents out there is that like you need to find purpose once that relationship ends. Because when I was a single dad and I was coming up, which is the reason why I made this channel. So I guess this kind of ties into my small YouTube content journey. Is that like my relationship was so toxic, and the videos I would search for online was how can I get her back? How can I get her back? How can I get her back? And like I think about it, I'm like, why would I want to be with somebody that like I had to make so many sacrifices and concessions to who I was as a person to try to make this person want to be with me that didn't even really want to be with me. And like I stopped being who I was. And honestly, once I found out a lot of stuff that I did going into that court battle, like I was able to find peace with it, and I was able to realize that I had lost a lot of who I was, and I got to be who I was again as a person by going through these battles. And like when it came to my parenting journey, is that I found out that I got to be a better parent because I was single. Because when I was, let's see, I'm trying to make sure I'm sticking with you guys. Answer me first. So I guess what I want to say is that like I'm a I'm a Christian. And I believe in my faith, and I believe in a greater. I believe God has a purpose for all of us, and I believe that He has a path set for all of us. And when we lean on our own understandings of why things happen, we make excuses for ourselves, and we think that we can control things that happen. And really, the only thing we can really do is play the cards that we have in life, and we can only do what is in front of us, and we can make the best of it. So like when my toxic relationship ended, I was finally able to find peace, and I was finally able to become a better dad, and I was able to do all that because I became single. Um, and at this point, like I've been single by choice because I don't really want to go back into that because I felt like trying to make a relationship work, it had it burned me out emotionally. Like the worst part is that like now, like I used to be a hopeless romantic and I love the rom coms. Um, I'm still like I'm still silly. That's why I have my dad jokes. But like I don't feel that excitement or joy anymore when it comes to dating. Like so now I'm single by choice because I'd rather just be a dad because I can experience unconditional love with my son, and he doesn't expect anything out of me other than to show up and be dad. So I say that you're single by choice, is abusive, never put a kid through anything like that. Yeah, I think as parents, it's our job to protect our kids. That's why even when I have started to date, like I refuse to bring my kid around anybody, unless I'm really sure. Because I remember being a kid myself, like being around new people all the time, and I think when you're a kid, like you want a figure around that's gonna love you and all that. So like you set your kids up for disappointment, and I never want to be a reason that my kid has heartache. Like it's already hard enough for the kids as it is to go through a divorce or a separation. And like my relationship was so toxic, and the custody battle was so toxic, and even through all that, like I put my faith in it, and I got good advice from my one attorney, and I took accountability and did what I had to do, and things finally became peaceful. And because of that, now we're able to co-parent, and my kid gets the best of both of us. Like we're not together, but he has the best. You have 65,000 subscribers. That's awesome. What's your niche? And my house smells like hamburger helper. I wish it smelled like hamburger helper. My son doesn't eat anything but chicken nuggets, and he only eats the edge of them. And he eats uh, baked grilled cheese. So I wish it smelled like anime content. Is your channel faceless, or is there any videos of your face and you talking on it? And is it like original anime content, or are you like reposting and commenting or just reposting. And those of you that are sharing in the personal stuff, I appreciate you guys being so vulnerable. I know it's hard, and I generally appreciate it. If you're watching stuff and anything I'm talking about resonates with you, check out my content. I do have a lot of videos on separation, parenting, grief and loss, kind of going through those journeys and getting inspiration and encouragement and motivation from hardships. So like the did you basically did you have like an inspiration of who you watched to like make those videos? Because like I think I did like one when I first started creating content. I tried to do a reaction video. I mean, it was one of my first videos, and it has like 300 and something subscribers. But like, I felt so unnatural trying to do the reaction because like, well, first off, I'm still pretty illiterate when it comes to like doing all the technology part of it. Like right now, I'm filming on my phone, and I film all my stuff on my phone. Do you have money for you? No, but I can give you knowledge, and you can go out and make something yourself and make money for yourself. Wait, so you have 65,000 subscribers and you're not monetized? Did you get demonetized? Were you monetized at one point? So, to give you knowledge, my best advice, and this is one of the pieces of advice I gave my stepson who was turning 16 and he's entering the job force. The one thing that people can't coach is attitude. Attitude is how you perceive life and how you play the cards that you're dealt and how you address every situation that you have. So, like, my thing is, I came from nothing. And the only way I got to where I was by being polite, being kind, saying hello to people, saying please, saying thank you, going the extra mile, working harder than anybody else, and kind of standing out. And when you do that and you treat people right, like this is what I tell my stepson, you never know who you're gonna see again in your life. So that one person you treat like garbage, they might be the person that is controlling you getting the job or you getting promoted or you moving on. Like never have a reason why somebody can hold something over you to get where you want. So like example, like if I wasn't the way I am, like if I didn't say hi to people in the hallway, I didn't have this way about me, I wouldn't have gotten the job I was because the one thing you'll find out when it comes to careers, 90% of the jobs that you want are not posted. They're by word of mouth and they're like by, hey, you can come apply for this job because I think you'd be a good fit. Like that's how you get the good jobs. And then you work hard and you might not make a lot of money in that first job. But like the one thing I always tell people is like when I joined the army, I was a paralegal. And when I came out, I started working in the civilian sector and I tried to get jobs at law firms. They didn't want to hire me as a paralegal. They wanted to hire me as a legal assistant. And I could have taken the job, um, but I didn't take the job because they wanted to hire me in a different position. But in certain times, the title that you have in that position is more important than the money you're making. Because a title I can put down in a resume, I can put down things I did. You don't have to put down what you made. You don't have to put down your salary or like your income. But the income, the salary, that stuff comes later as you progress with the amount of knowledge and the amount of experience that you have. Um, what if the person in charge is treating you like garbage? Well, being in the military, having drill sergeants yell at me, I think how you handle yourself in that situation, like if you can have somebody trash talk you, if you can have somebody bad talk you, and you keep progressing and you keep moving forward, like I said, this is the same thing when it comes to like my relationship. Is like when I was going through family court, it was just constant back and forth barrages of like blows and insults and stuff like that. When you stop reacting, that's when the other person stops doing it, because you think about it, like people that do stuff like that, they're looking for an ego boost. And when you stop giving them a reason to have that ego boost, like who wants to talk to a wall? Like, um, seems to reach 10 million views. So I have ADHD brain, so I can have multiple things. So you need to reach 10 million views. Do you have any long form content? Is all your stuff just shorts? So you have 65,000 shorts, but like not close to that amount. So or they post a job, but they already have their friend lined up for jobs. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that you need to have, again, like do what you need to do, get the experience you need to do, get the title you need to have, and sometimes you can move on. You can use that experience to put down on your resume. You can make that a way to um, kind of sell yourself, to network yourself. And I think like websites like LinkedIn are incredible assets. Like there's social media like that is like brain rot, and you can doom scroll. But like for an example, when I came out and I wanted to be a paralegal, I went on LinkedIn and I searched paralegals. I searched paralegals in my area, and I reached out to every single paralegal I could find. I'm like, when you started, how did you get to where you are? What did you have to do? What certifications did you have? What kind of experience did you have? What kind of people did you have? Um, and like apply to places. And like the current company I work for, I applied to 22 different jobs before I got hired in my one spot. So um, again, there's going to be adversity at every step you do. There's going to be people that are going to slam the door in your face, and there's people that are going to put you down. But your ability to humble yourself and move forward, like again, like bad times don't last forever. Like how you manage yourself in those situations, you'll be surprised at how well things can come for you if you're willing to put things aside and you're willing to have a positive attitude. Like I said, I know we talked the other day about this with my faith, is that like I just pray every day, God, put me on the path that you want for me. If this is in front of me and this is the adversity I need to go through so that I can get to where I want to be, so be it. Let me go through this. Let me take this abuse right now so that I can get to where I want. So play Tonto, yay or nay, great advice. What's what are those things that you're saying, Gyro Brown? Hey guys, give me one moment. I just need to say goodnight. All right, guys, I'm back. Thanks for staying on. All right, guys, I'm back. Thanks for staying on. So yeah, no, he's not anymore. Okay. Let's see if anybody else jumps on. Welcome back. Who came back in? If you're returning, we can continue the conversation. Are you just logging in for the first time, or are you just logging into my stream for the first time? So if you're new, basically this is my journey. I just want to kind of talk to other small content creators. kind of let you know where my journey started, where I am, what I've kind of learned from this whole thing. Starting out 2 years ago, I had no viewers and no subscribers, and I slowly started, got nothing, and I decided to quit. Uh, Came back about a year later. My one video had like 300 views, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna put a real effort into making a real channel. And I put together a script. I put together some editing, try to do like make it look as legit as possible, and still again no views. So uh, growth is very slow as a small content creator. And even like right now, like I have one person watching, and if you're watching, thank you for logging in and not making me talk to absolutely nobody. So basically, like my first videos failed. I came back, that video failed, and I wanted to start making content all the time. So I looked into the shorts sphere, and the very first short that I filmed was a review of Oreo cookies Reese's mashup, and that was my first. That was my first video I put up on my first short, and after making all my long form content and not getting any views or subscribers, like I got that initial dopamine rush of, hey, there's 25 people watched my short. I'm like, that's amazing. And then like realizing when it comes to like actual shorts, like that's nothing. Um, but then I'm like, I can do this shorts thing. Like it's simple. It's not super time consuming. So I filmed my first dad joke, and that got like, I think like 300 views. And I was like, that's awesome. So I'm like, well, let me make one tomorrow. This will be episode one. And I made another one the next day. That one got like 150. And then when I got to my fourth one, it hit like 37,000 views. And I was like, this is it. I was like, I'm taking off. I was like, this YouTube thing's gonna work out. And then the next one I did had like 200 views. Um, So the funny thing about doing the collabs is like when I first started, I had a channel reach out to me and I did a collab with them, and their channel was small, and now like I have like 10 times the subscribers they do. And now I'm trying to build them up, and I'm trying to make new collabs that are more like-minded for me. Um because sometimes you start doing collabs and then you start talking to them and they turn it into something different. And you're like, yeah, I don't know if I should be on this. Uh, yeah, but I mean, the 500,000 views is between shorts and long form, and most of those are shorts. The problem is that some of the stuff I had was like, I think what really bothers me, I had a couple shorts that got a lot of views. I did like a couple of views from like an air show, and I got like the F-22 got like 34,000 views, so that kind of inflated my numbers a little bit. Um, but then like this is the hard part being a content creator, is that like there's stuff that will get lots of views that isn't really what you're trying to push out there. And now I'm at the point where like I don't want to have those inflated views from stuff that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm trying to put out there. Um, so I'll put my head down and I'll do the original content. And my goal is not to repost. Um, let's see. Yeah, there is a lot of political people out there, and I try to keep the political sphere out of my stuff. I mean, I'm obviously I have Christian faith, so like a lot of my video is like trying to teach him with like Christian values. But I see both sides of it. But I don't, especially being active military, I can't really voice my opinions because um, I can get in trouble for it. And honestly, at this point in juncture, like if you're making political content, it's either you're on this side or you're this side, and nobody wants to come in the middle and talk. It's always just like it's like family court. So I stay away from that stuff. I already discussed politics with my son. Um, I try not to. I mean, I just tell him facts. I'm like, this is who's president. I brought him to voting. I've let him come in the voting station with me. But um, honestly, it's like I don't think it's appropriate to really push politics on kids. Like I see, and this is going into politics, but I've seen people put their kids in political theaters and political things. And I don't think it's appropriate for kids. First of all, they don't understand it. They don't know what they're doing. And like, I mean, I'm guilty of doing this when it comes to like sports. Like, I'm a Bills fan. I'm trying to get my son to be a Bills fan. So I kind of like put Bills stuff on him and like put it around it. But like for political stuff, I try not to. Um, yeah, keep Kathy Hochul as far away as possible. Um, Again, like being that young, like unless I really expose him to that stuff, like it's not like he would see it on his own. I mean, I keep control over what he sees online. So like if I'm seeing something online and like when he watches YouTube, it's on our TV. So if I see something that's going politically based, I'll turn it off because honestly, like, a lot of the stuff isn't very positive these days. So um, him seeing that stuff isn't really beneficial to him growing. What if my kid becomes a Cleveland Browns fan? Uh, so it's funny. A couple years ago, we were watching a Bills Saturday night game, and the Bills were playing the Dolphins, and we were watching the game. And he was like, "I like those blue color," and I was like, "You can't cheer for that team." I'm like, "They're the bad guys." And there was one time we were talking about after. I was like, "You can't cheer." He was like, "You can't cheer for them. They're the bad guys." He's like, "Oh, okay." So like one day we're talking about World War II and we're like talking about like the Nazis and stuff and how they were bad people. And he's like, were they a fan of that team we were watching? And I was like, no. I was like, the Nazis were not Miami Dolphins fans. I was like, but see, that's the thing is like kids are impressionable. So like you can tell your kids something and that can be like how they perceive something. So I think it's like why parents need to be really careful how they portray stuff because honestly, like we're our kids' first example of what they learn. Um, like like they'll emulate us first. That's why it's like I always tell people, I'm like, just remember you're always on stage. Like you need to what you're telling your kids is how you need to live your life. So like if you're telling your kid to say please say thank you and then you go out and you're a major jerk, like why is your kid gonna listen to what you say if your words have no meaning? So um again, that's why I try to push my or the videos I try to put out there is like, hey, like dads, think about what you're doing, think about how you're acting, think about this. Like I don't want to just tell people stuff. Like I want to like be able to give real life experiences. Like even small stuff like that is like again like it was one thing we talked about while watching a football game, and his memory was able to keep that in his head long enough that when he was able to hear another topic of a conversation that had the same keyword and key topic discussed, he was able to put those things together. So that's why it's like it's super important that we focus and we're self aware when we do things. So I see I got a second person in the chat. Are you a small content creator? If you are, how many subscribers do you have? What kind of content do you film? Um, Has YouTube been what you expected? Is it not what you expected? What kind of lessons have you learned? Um, as I'm a big pop culture guy. I'm a big fan of Parks and Recreation. I love Andy. Right now, my YouTube journey is I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it very well. That's basically how I can say like my journey is going. Let's see. So you said Matt Noah. What was the other guy you gave advice to check out? When was the first episode of Parks and Rec aired? I'm gonna guess like 2009, 2008. It's a great show. Awesome. You know you're doing a good job live streaming when you lose subscribers as you're as you're on. That's how you know you're doing it right. Who that Matt Noah does? Oh, advice guy. Let's just see. Yeah, I think you just gotta be careful who you watch. Just kind of vet them. It's weird. Like there's certain people I would have never watched, and then I started watching them, and I liked them. And then there's people I thought I liked, and then they said stuff, and I was like, maybe I don't like them. Yeah, I don't talk about politics on my page just because my goal is to help all people. I mean, the topics I discuss are parenting, military, grief and loss, stuff like that. And I think stuff like that should never really be partisan because I feel like that's all stuff that we can all kind of relate about. Like, and I feel like once you go to a certain spectrum, like that's like one of the things I found that was hard about dating was like it became so overly political. Like I'm like, when did we start treating our political affiliations like sports teams? Um, yeah, I do. I have seven siblings, so my mom was Roman Catholic, and I have seven siblings. I have like 35 nieces and nephews, um, and honestly, like another reason why I made this too is be like I'm breaking a lot of chains that my family had gone through. Nobody really had it easy in my family. I was the first person to graduate from high school. I was the first person to graduate from college. First person to serve in the military. Did a lot of firsts, and my mom passed away when I was younger. So, and then my dad's like was horrible. So, like my dad being horrible, not being in my son's life, kind of broke that generational chain. And then my mom passing away and having uh, mental health issues as much as I miss her, like him not experiencing that has kind of broke that generational chain too. So like I say, like the things we go through, the wisdom that we learn, like some of the greatest lessons we learn are through the adversities and the hard times we go through. Yeah, they all have 5 kids on average, and they all started like young. Like my sisters had their first kids when they were 17, and then their kids had kids when they were 17. I'm like, don't we learn? And like, there's so many families that like they just keep recycling and doing the same thing over and over and over again. Nothing changes. Um, so I mean, those are some of the things I try to discuss too. Is like we can like learn from your like be self-aware, be able to humble yourself and be able to admit when you're wrong, admit like that what you're not doing is correct, and being able to adjust course. Like again, like nothing is able to be changed immediately. Like any any meaningful like change is done in progressions, which is like a great example for like this live stream for small creators is like if you continue doing the same thing you do on the very first video, you're never ever going to progress and become a better version. Nobody's ever going to want to watch your stuff because you continue doing the same thing when people are telling you by not watching your stuff that like you're doing the wrong things. Uh, Age security. I'll have to check them out. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. Like for a long time, I've wanted to write a book just because like my story is kind of very interesting. Like both my parents were mentally ill. They literally met in a group home. I went through foster care. I'm an identical twin. My twin died when I was in foster care. Um, I went back with my mentally unstable father. Was abused in multiple ways by people. Got through that. Uh, got bullied a lot in high school, or got bullied a lot in grammar school. High school wasn't too bad. Drop or joined the army, dropped out of the army, almost dropped out of high school. Had a failed relationship. My mom and my grandparents all passed away by the time I was 21, and those are all like the things I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I want to break that chain, and like I've wanted to write a book forever. Just like I don't know how to word it, and like I don't know if somebody wants to watch or read a random book by somebody that um I mean, 'cause it's not like I'm super successful or anything. Like I became successful for I guess a lower middle class person. You know, I'm able to live relatively comfortable. Just I'm not like exceeding on anything. Like half the stuff in my house is from a secondhand store. I buy most of my clothes from Goodwill. Like um, you learn to live and adapt. And uh, honestly, if I can help one person through one of my stories, then that's my goal. And honestly, that's why I'm on. That's why I'm on these live streams. Is because it's a way for me to be able to connect with people a little more because like people can log on to YouTube and they can see it on live and they're like, oh, I wonder what that's about. Um, but like I have my one video about finding motivation through our adversities, and like that video has no impressions, so like nobody's seeing it. So um yeah, for those who are joining and those that are on, like this is how you adapt through your YouTube journey. Is like you start, you put something out there. If it works, you take the successes that you had from that, you keep going, and then as things fail, as things don't work, you kind of learn through your videos. Like I said, I'm at about Uh, God, time flies by when you're old. So I have 535 videos between my shorts and my videos, and like I think I learned a little bit differently about stuff. And just recently, I would think I probably hit my that I hit my stride when it came to my my shorts. That I think I finally found the way to deliver my dad jokes in a way that people will tolerate them. Because also one of my goals with the jokes is that like people can watch them, listen to them, and then go and tell other people and like start conversations and make other people laugh. So uh, just let me check out this other guy. All right, so I see there's another person in the chat or watching. Are you trying to get monetized on this channel? um, I mean that would be the goal. Like eventually, I mean I do spend a lot of time per week on my content. Like I would say I'm probably spend 20, 30 hours a week on top of my other stuff to do this channel. So I mean, just I mean, I would like to eventually do more stuff with it. Like I think with the amount of content I'm doing now, like I can't really go too fancy or too over the top with like what I do because eventually like, I want to do like actual vlogging and like getting out and filming B-roll and stuff like that. But like right now, I just don't have the bandwidth to like edit full time and stuff. Um, is your day job boring? So again, my goal is to eventually get monetized, but my goal isn't to make like hundreds of thousands of dollars. My goal is like if I can get monetized and maybe make like even peanuts, anything I could put towards my student loans, I'll be happy for. Is my day job boring? So I really enjoy my day job. So I work in public relations, and I worked in the service industry for a long time. So like that's kind of where I got most of my people skills because I think the one thing I learned while waiting tables is that like there is no universal way to speak to everybody. Like you need to be able to speak to different people in different ways. Um, some people might get annoyed by a certain tone. Some people might get annoyed by like the same consistency. And I think it's the same way when it comes to leadership. Like there's not one way to manage people. Like so I think working in the service industry, it taught me how to talk to different people. Like so it's easier for me to connect to people because I can read body language. I think it was one of the things I enjoyed about getting a communication degree is that I learned nonverbal communication. So like you can pick up on little social cues that people are putting out there and they're putting down. Like they're kind of like telling you with their bodies what they like, what they don't like. So I've done a pretty good job with connecting with people, even with my coworkers. Uh, yeah, that's why like I tell my dad jokes all the time, and that's why I started doing them. Is because like I started doing dad jokes when it came to like my when I was doing meetings during the day. Is I would start with a dad joke because it would kind of like um, decompress the conversation, especially like on a Monday morning. Um, is a utility monopoly. So a lot of places don't allow monopolies anymore. Um, so it's a free market. So like even like in utility fields, like most utility companies will allow you to have different suppliers. So you might have like a place that has a delivery charge and they're delivering it, but like you can shop around your supply charges. So um, honestly, like people hate utilities in general. So like I kind of expect that from that, but like the way I look at it is that like people like people can be mad at the organization or they can be mad at like the company, but I can put a human touch on something and I can show them what a person that works within that field can do. Like my usually my job is to talk to the biggest people, but I'm always willing to even talk to people that are on the smallest level to be able to help them. Um, I think if you're genuine across the board, I think people can read genuineness, and I think people are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Uh, that's why I try to take people on a person by person basis rather than tying them into one specific group. Um, and I think it's like that in any venture. Yeah, I mean, like you look at Texas. I mean, they had pretty poor oversight, and then when they had that with that freeze a couple years ago, and they ended up charging like all the consumers like 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 to help rebuild their infrastructure. I don't know if Abbott's still the governor down there, but I know that was a big thing. You know what's so crazy is that like I started this live stream thinking I was only going to talk for like 20 minutes, and now I'm looking at my timer and it's like 97 minutes. Well, didn't they refuse to like adjust their infrastructure, and then because of that, uh, their their system failed. So I got some more people jumping on right now. So basically, I'm having a small talk right now with one of my subscribers, but basically this feeds about YouTube content creator journey, where it started, where it's currently at. I do have my poll up, so we'll see where that is. Um, so if you're just jumping on, if you're a content creator, if you want to put down in the chat how many subscribers you have, um, anything you've learned from your journey. Yeah, that's pretty crazy that they live in a place where there's definitely frost. I mean, it snowed during a Cowboys game before, so like think that like it's never gonna get cold is wild to me. A lot of people die from that, I think. Yeah. So like right now, my goal is I'm at 489 subscribers. I really my goal is to hit 500. I tried to like tell people I would. Uh, I told them I would get a new MacBook if and kind of show them how content creation can be filmed on that, and that didn't seem to help. So I guess one thing I've learned for those of you who are watching is that like you can't force people to subscribe to you. Like you just gotta be genuine and you gotta put a product out there that people are willing to watch and people uh, can relate to. So don't sell yourself out to try to get subscribers. I know there's people out there that actually pay for subscribers, but like getting paying for subscribers doesn't help because then your videos get pushed out to all these people that aren't even watching your stuff anyways. Um, Texas is only good for the low taxes, but all the roads are toll roads and the property taxes are high. Well, I know like in places like Arizona, like when you like you don't get property taxes, but you get taxed on stuff like your car value. So I guess it pays to have a hoopty out there. So like on your analytics, it'll show you where your people are coming from. And like 95% of mine are from the US and like there's some from Canada too. And there's some from Great Britain. But a majority, I think I think probably the reason why is because like a lot of my content is military related too. So obviously with US military and I don't know. I think a lot of maybe even my jokes are probably more catered to Americans. They probably wouldn't find my stuff as funny overseas, so maybe that's why. Um, but honestly, like again, like with the subscriber count, I think it's more about the quality of the connections that you're making rather than the quantity. Because again, like I've seen so many people they'll buy old YouTube channels that have like 100,000 subscribers, but because they buy the YouTube and they start putting videos up, that like the people that are those subscribers aren't actually there to watch your content. So like so the monetization part is like you need to have 1,000 subscribers to get monetized, and but you need to have 4,000 watch hours. So like in that case, if you have 100,000 subscribers and you put out content that doesn't do anything, then people are going to click on it, and then like you just have this giant channel with no views. Again, that's why like my stuff is that's why I kind of changed my perception on stuff. Is like again, like I thought when I made my first videos, I'm like, well, people are gonna want my story because I find it interesting. But the truth is, like, not everybody cares, and like they want stuff that resonates with them. And like I feel like for the kind of content that I make is like if I only have like 10 or fewer people watch it, or if I have less than 100 people watch it, but those people get something out of it, then like I find those to be victories. And so honestly, like on the videos where like there's low viewership, but like the retention rate on them is like 70-80%. I think that's like those are the videos that I look at and I'm like, I want to continue making content like this because obviously there's retention to it. And the people are watching all the way to the end. But then like again, like I don't understand the YouTube algorithm because like there's videos that get pushed out that have high impressions, low retention, no subscribers, no likes, and they get pushed out. But then there's videos that get high likes, high comments, and high subscribers and high retention, and the impressions still aren't there. So if anybody ever figures out how the algorithm actually works, that'd be pretty great. The dumbest people in society. I think YouTube is one of the. I think a lot of the social medias are that way, and like I feel like it's really easy to fall into silos. I think the one good thing about YouTube is that like you can put out certain content and it might go viral, and like you might have a couple subscribers and they'll watch your stuff, but like if you don't maintain like who you are, your integrity, and like you don't give people something they want to watch, like Eventually they'll go away. I mean, like obviously your stuff stays up there forever and people can watch it whenever, but like um YouTube is pretty good at like identifying like when people break the rules and stuff like that, which a lot of the other social medias don't. But yeah, it's funny like seeing the amount of people that try to use like they try to use like quick ways to boost their channels, like using like yeah, I noticed one of the big things like reposting things that's not original content. Um and that's what's frustrating too, is like seeing these channels like they're like, I show that you can have 1 million subscribers in a couple days, and like the content that they put out there is just reposting like game highlights. I'm like, it's frustrating like that because like there's zero thought or creativity when it comes to posting that stuff and just reposting things for people to watch. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but there's also a lot of people that are creating every day, and there's a lot like back in the day, like some of the videos I've watched is like YouTube used to push a lot more small content. Like there used to be like when you would log into YouTube, there'd be like the page, and you would see like 25 different channels and be 25 different videos. But now when you log in and you search something, there's only maybe 4 or 5 videos that are shown, and there's obviously the shorts feed, and there's maybe 4 or 5 shorts, and they have to like catch your eye. But when it comes to like long form content, like if your stuff's not resonating, it sinks all the way to the bottom. So like there might be a lot of viewers on YouTube, but there's also a lot of people that are actually like putting stuff out there that's kind of like saturating the market. Yeah, so it's funny. One of the first channels I really followed on YouTube was Dom Mazzetti. Like he was a creator, and he was like the one of the first big YouTube creators. And he did like the bro science stuff, and his content was just hilarious. It was basically like this character that he made. He was a he was a like a student at NYU doing acting, and he made this character, and like he was basically like a douchebag, like a gym bro, and it was called Bro Science. It was basically just him giving like really bad fitness advice, but it was pretty funny. If you want to look it up, let's see if I can find it. But that was like the first real big YouTube that I followed was Dom Mazzetti and Bro Science. I stopped following him as of recently, but now like the people I really watch is like I really like watching car and automotive stuff. Like I really like Vice Grip Garage. That's one of my favorites. I like Legit Street Cars. He's a pretty cool page. I like Bikes and Beards. They're pretty cool. Um, and there's some other people I enjoy watching. But those are like the like when I turn on YouTube at night, like I'll put on YouTube or a Vice Grip Garage because it has like his videos are like 2 hours, 2.5 hours long, and like I'll fall asleep watching it. And the 0506 Sabres, that was a fun time. I'm glad the Canadians lost. So it's funny. So in Bro Science, like he used to have his videos, and like he was like talking about the Fourth of July, and he was like, this was 10 years ago. So he was like 237 years ago, a bunch of cross-dressing bros got together and created the greatest fraternity ever, America. Well, it's funny now that like hockey's over. Like it's kind of funny if you're not a hockey fan, you can kind of zone. You kind of you can zone it out and like not even pay attention to it. Um, I'm also a Knicks fan, so I'm pretty happy the Knicks are doing pretty well right now. How do you share a channel? Oh, here we go. So this is like one of my all-time favorite channels on YouTube. It just, his original content was like so stupid and out there, like you couldn't help but laugh. I honestly don't know when the first Knicks game is because like the NBA just like the Knicks swept multiple teams and like it was like 2 weeks between games. I'm like I can't even keep track of it at this point. So I guess I'll wait for Alexa to tell me when the game is. So yeah, like the original content creators like they kind of broke into because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like I did my fun facts of the day. Apparently, YouTube was originally meant to be like a dating site. So basically, like, you would come on YouTube, you would film like I don't know if you remember like back in the '80s, they would film like the dating videos, like where you'd go on, kind of like tell who you are, and then people would make videos. That's basically how YouTube was created was to be a dating site, and people would make videos. But it didn't catch on, and they made the decision to do like other videos. And I could imagine if YouTube was still a dating site. So I don't know if any of you remember if you're older. Online dating is horrendous. Yeah, some of the topics I talk about in my on my channel is the being a being a single dad and trying to date. Trying to find value in like the dating scene as a single dad. Like I'm like I would honestly just rather be single. Like I think the only part that is hard about it is that like eventually my son's gonna grow up and I'm not gonna have him around anymore. And then like I mean, hopefully I do enough that he wants to maintain a relationship with me beyond when he's 18 and kind of goes out and becomes his own man. So in that regard, like I kind of want to meet somebody just so I have like somebody to do things with when I'm older. But like in my videos, like I discuss like at this point, I'd rather give my time and energy into being a parent than dating. Um, but again, like the funny thing is, like on my videos, like they're targeted towards the dads, and majority of the like if I look at the analytics on those videos, like a lot of times it's women. Um, so it's almost like the opposite are of the target audience are the ones that are actually watching because they want to know. Is Japan full of singularly older people? I feel like Russia definitely is because they sent all their young people to war. Mm. Oh, Rocky, say hi. So dog content, so maybe if I have my dog on my stream, maybe he'll bring people in. So this is my Australian Shepherd. I have some videos about him. Uh, he's super dumb and super smart at the same time. And a good boy. Well, I think I'm an hour and 15 minutes in this, and I got to wake up at like 5 a.m. So it was great talking to you again. I'm probably gonna start a stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be about grief and loss. So if you have any grief and loss stories and you want to come on there and share some of them, feel free to jump on tomorrow. Hopefully, strike up some conversations, get some people talking, and hopefully build. My goal is to keep building communities based on these videos. So I appreciate you watching. I'm glad you popped in again, and we'll talk again soon. So if you guys watched, thank you. I appreciate you. Pray for all of you. May God bless you in your journeys. If you're watching and you're a creator, uh, I pray that you find success on your pages as well. So I hope you guys have a good night. May God bless you.